Good evening, and a very warm welcome to the regular Friday talk from Leicester and Harrow. This evening's topic is the law of attraction, and we're very fortunate to have with us Sister Aruna Ladva. Now, Aruna first found meditation or encountered meditation at the age of 8, and I think with hindsight, many of us wish we had too. So she's helped to establish centres across the world, from Canada to Kuwait and many places in between. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Aruna and let her share any more of her story that she'd like to with you, and to do the topic, the law of attraction. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you so much. And thank you to the Leicester Centre for hosting this event. So yes, law of attraction. I'm sure all of us are attracting things in our life, whether we realize it or not. And so we're going to discuss some aspects of the law of attraction. And so for this, I'm going to share my screen. And we shall begin. Okay. So, yes, firstly, I want to begin by saying that, did you know that your body is vibrating all the time? And even if the soul were to leave the body, then if you were to look at the atoms in the body, then they would still be vibrating. And I often think it's like the guitar, when we play a guitar and then we stop stringing the guitar and we just leave it. Not stop it, just string the last string and just let it vibrate. And there is this kind of humming sound. It takes a while before the strings actually come to a halt. And so it is with us. The soul is actually, we say, a spiritual being in a body on a physical journey. And not what most people think, which is that we are physical beings and on a spiritual journey. So the soul has entered the body into this physical existence to express and experience. This, to me, is the essence of life. To express and experience. Everything we do, it is with knowing that I'll have a good experience about it. And that is why when things don't go the way that I want, then I get upset, because I thought that what I was doing was right and that I was actually creating my reality. But anyway, more on this towards the end. So I want to begin by asking you, how often do we give our power away? In other words, how often is it that we allow things to happen to us and then we lose our calm and peace? If I know that I'm creating my reality, then this kind of energy that you see here, if you plant these seeds, then what are we going to reap? If there are these feelings of anger or hatred or violence, then we can only reap more of the same. So when I say give your power away, what I mean is something happens and I react to it. As they say, life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And you can do a case study by having 10 people face the same thing, and yet all of them will react differently. There's that famous story of the cockroach, where a man comes from the kitchen out into the restaurant with a plate, and just on the tray there is a cockroach. And this cockroach falls on the lady's lap. And of course, she starts getting up and screaming and shouting and panicking. And as she does this, she goes like this, and the cockroach falls on the waiter's sleeve. And what does he do? He just picks it up and throws it out. So was it the cockroach, or was it the person? And was it our inhibitions, our perceptions, our attitudes, our beliefs around what is a cockroach or what it represents? So yeah, I'm saying, do I respond or do I react? And what I mean here is that response is to think over something, to ponder, re-ponder, and then I act. Whereas react is I reenact, I'm acting again. If you think about it, the first time you meet somebody, okay, and they do something to you, like they sit on your seat, or they use your cup, teacup or coffee cup, or they borrow something from your desk without asking you. The first time they do it, you probably excuse them. But when they keep doing it, in other words, when they reenact that scene again and again, then you will also now preempt that scene, and you'll be ready now for your response, because you know that they're going to do the same thing again and you don't like it. And that's when it turns into a reaction. So again, we have to be very careful about what we are creating with our thoughts, with our words, with our actions. Why? Because all day, every day, we are creating the rest of our life. What is law of attraction? Law of attraction is, why am I attracting this now to myself? Why is this happening to me? Why am I here with the people I am? So the question to ask yourself is, do you want your life to be just average, or do you want it to be memorable? In other words, do you just want to sit on the couch and wait for life to happen? Or do you actually want to be a participant in your life and begin to plant the seeds of what you want? Many times people want the fruit, but they're not willing to plant the seeds. How can we get the fruit if we didn't plant in spring? And so there's many people, many examples. And now with Facebook, what is it, 8 million people on Facebook, many examples around the world now, social media, we see how people have actually created the life that they want. Why? Because they invested in their thoughts. They created those conscious thoughts of what they wanted, not what they didn't want, but what they actually wanted. In fact, there's somebody, it's not a positive story, but it's still the law of attraction. So somebody I knew, and I was talking to them about the law of attraction. And I said, did you know that whatever thoughts you create, You actually make them happen. And this person is in India, and this person said, yes, you know what? I've actually kept aside 5-6 lakhs of rupees in case me or my family get sick. And sure enough, those 5-6 lakhs of rupees, 500,000-600,000 rupees was spent on his treatment, because that's where he decided, that's where he chose that my money would be spent. In other words, yes, it was out of fear that that's where the money may be needed. What if he had had the thought that I'm going to, spend this 500,000-600,000 on acquiring a lovely property or making a lovely peace park or something like that? Then I'm sure that would have happened, right? So the point here is, what am I planting? What thoughts am I creating? What am I investing? So basically, we know that there are, before that, let me explain. There are many laws in the universe that, govern the way the universe works. Like, for example, right, the law of gravity, right? So when I drop this pen, it's going to fall, like it's not going to fly up, right? We just know, I mean, intuitively, factually, we know that when I throw this pen, it's gonna go to the floor. And that is known as the law of gravity. And so with the law of attraction, there are 3 laws that actually govern the law of attraction. So one of them is like attracts like. And what we mean here is that, whatever we are like, we will probably attract the same kind of people into our life. Whatever interests we have, hobbies we have, the way we like to do things, how fast we are, how slow we are, how lazy or active. So we attract people into our life in this way. And couples, you can see often, many times they say, well, you attract the opposite to complement you. But I still feel there's something there's got to have been some in other words, similarity, otherwise you wouldn't get on. I mean, you can't be polar opposites in order to complement yourself. So like attracts like is one thing. So in other words, if we take this law and apply it to law of attraction, then whatever thought I create, then I'm going to attract a similar thought. So if I have the thought that I'm successful, then what am I going to attract? More success. But if I have the thought that I'm a loser, that I can never be a hero of my life, I can never get what I want, it's impossible. If I have such thoughts, then that is what I will attract, because that's what I'm consciously creating. And actually, if I'm spending a lot of time focusing on that, then for sure, definitely, those are the seeds I'm planting. And then I say, see, I'm right. Because I've proven that, self-fulfilling prophecy that, yes, I can't. So I can't, I won't. Second law is that nature abhors a vacuum. And you can see this, I can see this in this house. So this is a new center, and I can see myself filling it up. In other words, of course, I'm trying to get just what we need. But if you have an empty drawer, it won't stay empty for long. If you have a cupboard, it will not stay empty for long. If you have an empty kitchen drawer, it won't stay empty for long, right? In the same way, in your life. In fact, I know somebody who, I think maybe 2 years ago, she decided to quit her job. And she said, okay, so all these, 45, 50 hours I spent at work, I'm going to have them all to myself. And guess what? Like, she's become as busy as she was when she used to go to work. I mean, we literally have to find time to connect. So yeah, the point is that nature will fill that vacuum. Now it's up to you to decide, what am I going to fill that hole with? What am I going to fill that vacuum, that space with? And so nature's going to do it. Nature meaning not plants and flora, but nature meaning life. Life is nature. And so if you don't consciously fill your life with what you want, then life will throw something at you. And then you'll have to accept what life throws at you, because there cannot be a vacuum. And the third law is that the present is always perfect. Now, what this means is that even if it's not perfect, I have to make it perfect. My present, my time now, my present, I have to make it perfect, because whatever I am seeking, if I'm not fulfilled now, how can I be fulfilled later? Like I always say, if I'm not happy with a little, how will I be happy with a lot? So somehow, if I want a good job, if I want good relationships with certain people, I have to feel like it is perfect. It's good, it's perfect now, it's great. And yes, initially you might be fooling yourself, but you have to find some aspect of perfection in that. And when you do, then you attract more of it, and it becomes natural, and then it becomes authentically perfect, where you're not fooling yourself. Let's see the other side of the coin. If you want perfect relationships and you keep saying, well, nobody does anything around here, and everybody's conspiring against me, and nobody likes me, and everything goes from bad to worse. I mean, if you have this kind of negative thinking, then how are you going to get to the perfect relationship? Because I'm constantly complaining, I'm constantly criticizing, I'm constantly seeing the negative. So how am I going to make it perfect? So yeah, I have to find something within what I'm doing that is perfect, that looks good, and that's what I have to give my attention to. So I want to talk a little bit about frequency, because thoughts and this law of attraction is all about frequency. It's all about vibration. So I'm sure as you grew up, you saw a lot of Tom and Jerry, right? And so basically they provoke each other, don't they? So Jerry, even though, Tom is sleeping peacefully, Jerry will go and irritate him, and then they turn into some chase. So the point is that, yeah, whatever thought I create, I am emitting a signal to the universe. And we always give this example that if you want to listen to BBC broadcast, then let's say that's on 99.7. So you have to tune in to 99.7. If you go to 100.5 or something like that, then you'll be listening to pop or jazz or classical. So I have to tune in, which means what? I have to create the thought of what I want. So if I want to be deeply peaceful and spiritual, and I want a flow in my life, and I want harmony in relationships, and I want to be successful, and I want to feel abundance, then these are the kinds of thoughts I need to create, because that is the channel that I want to tune into. And when I tune into that channel, then I will hear that will reciprocate to me what I want to hear. Right? I want to hear BBC. So I have to tune into that so then I can hear what it has to say. And so it's the same here. I have to create that powerful thought of what I want, and then that will communicate to me. That idea, that concept, whatever, it will literally talk to me, right? And yeah, this is what I'm saying. So we have to emit the right signals. So I cannot think that I want to be rich, but really I'm emitting the signal of poverty. I cannot think that I want to be successful, but I'm emitting the signal of laziness. You see, I cannot think that I want to be healthy, but inside I cannot believe that I could be healthy. I cannot accept that I could have 100% healthy body here and now. So there's something about the belief system. I have to believe in what I want. And that's the, you can say, impetus or the thrust behind that thought. It's not just enough to have the thought, but you have to have the thrust, the power behind that. And the power comes from the belief, the knowing that, yes, this is really true. So yes, what frequency are you emitting? Just take a moment to reflect. And I want you to check this by asking yourself, yeah, what are the thoughts you create? And also, what are the choice of words that you use in your life? I can, I can't, I wish, I hope, never, yes, maybe, but. What are the kinds of, language, the thoughts that you use? Or are they definitive? Are they determined? Are they crystal clear to you? That yes, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to get. And we have to work on this on a daily basis. It's literally like you plant a seed and you have to water it on a daily basis. So in other words, you have to keep tuning into that frequency. And that's why people have things like vision boards or post-it notes or reminders on their phone or like daily affirmations, because you have to create more of that same energy of what you want. And remember, only to think the positive, not what you don't want. Don't give attention to what you don't want. Give attention to what you want. And here's an example. So does the signal of my desire and my belief match? So this guy is so super happy that he's going to work. And everyone else, you see their faces? So how are those people going to be when they get to work? So everybody says, yes, I want a happy working environment. But they forget that I have to be the one. I have to be the one to go in and do my bit. I have to be a percentage of that happy environment. Actually, this is a good time to tell you this story. So basically, it kind of matches. So anyway, bear with me. So basically, there was a king who made an announcement that we have this big lake now, okay? And well, it's not a lake. It's they've dug the ground and they want to turn it into a lake. And so the king feels that it would be good if we could make it a little symbolic, and if everybody could bring a glass of milk and everybody empties that into this land, and let us begin at least with a pond or whatever lake of milk. And so this big announcement is made. All the villagers are told, bring a glass of milk tomorrow to add to the pond or the lake. And One person has this thought, well, everybody's going to bring milk, so let me take a glass of water. What does it matter? And can you believe the next day there is a lake of water, because everybody's had the same thought. That what does it matter? What does it matter if I don't take the glass of milk? So the point being that we say one thing and do something else, but when we then, when we look at it in the bigger scheme of things, and all those little thoughts then create the world that we have today. Because somehow our signal that we're emitting is not matching our belief. What we want and what we believe does not match. So we have to believe that I can have what I want. I have to believe that can happen, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know who's watching and listening now, and what's your purpose in life. I personally am not, well, I don't want to say not interested in money. I think money is necessary, but I'm more interested in working with my mind and my thoughts and manifesting with my thoughts. So I'm very conscious of the thoughts that I create. And that's been my journey. Maybe others want to make more money. Maybe others want to be more famous. Maybe others want to be more, excelling in sports or something else. So it's up to you, really, what it is. You have to find out what it is you want. And then you have to put, as I said, all your thrust behind that. But there is a catch, which I'll come to. So yeah, don't worry about reading all this text. I want to just let you know that this is an official experiment done on vibrations, okay? And basically, these are the hertz of energy that we emit when we are, let's say, for example, in grief. It's a very low hertz energy. Fear, also the same. And then let's move to, yes, this came out during COVID, actually, that if you look at number 12, then this is COVID energy. High frequency mental states suppress COVID-19 activity. So it's like, not being able to manage your mental state. Then we start moving a little bit to gratitude and unity, harmony, and you can see compassion. You can see how then the hertz increase, right? And look at unconditional spiritual love. That is 205 hertz. So I just want to show you this to show that this is actually being researched, documented, that we are vibrational beings and that we are emitting some kind of energy all the time. Even as you sit there now, you're emitting some kind of energy, whether it's through your mood, whether it's through your sense of whatever pain, listening to me, or pleasure, whether you approve or you don't approve, or in general, maybe a good day, maybe you had a bad day and you're just getting over that. So it's a bit like the guitar, you've played the guitar all day and now you're sitting and yet that energy is still vibrating in you. So the point here is, what do I want to be manifesting and vibrating? And that is, of course, this very high kind of spiritual, I won't just say love, but very high spiritual energy. like even when I'm in deep peace or deep contentment, then that is a very high vibrating frequency. And this actually helps my physical immunity. When I'm vibrating on a very high positive note, I'm actually helping my physical immunity. People who are in fear tend to be less immune. And that's why then, of course, they fall sick. It's not just the physical, but the mental. Or when people worry too much, or when people doubt others too much. All these are very low vibrating frequencies. And so, of course, it's going to affect the soma, right? Psychosomatic. And that's how we fall sick, or that's how people remain sick. So yeah, I think enough on that. So this is why it's so important that we focus on our momentum of thoughts. So as you can see here, when this snowball starts at the top, it's very small, right? But then as it continues to roll down, you can see it not only becomes bigger, but it gains momentum. And this momentum word is very important because we think that it's just one thought. But is it just one thought? Because that thought will be added to another and another and another. And let me tell you, when it's negative thoughts, it's never just one thought. When it's positive thoughts, then yes, we say, I'm a peaceful soul. And yeah, I'm a peaceful soul. That's it. I don't need anything extra. But when it's a negative thought, right, then it's like, but no, but how can it be? But is that really true? And, it just doesn't stop. You can't just say, I had one negative thought and that's it, full stop. No, it doesn't stop. So that's why we have to be very careful, because any thought can gain momentum. Yeah, always remember that. So of course, if I want to gain the momentum of spiritual thoughts, thoughts of contentment, thoughts of generosity, thoughts of kindness, thoughts of gratitude, then yeah, create more of those and let them gain momentum. Because what will happen? We don't show what happens at the end of this. How will that ball come to a halt? It's when it bangs into something else. Unless, of course, it's infinite and then it comes to its natural halt. So what I'm trying to say is any negative thought we have, somewhere we'll have some accident and then we'll learn our lesson and then we'll say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have thought that. And sometimes that's too late. So let us be mindful really of the thoughts we create, because we are the ones who will experience the consequence of those thoughts. So yeah, I just want to show you these pictures. And as I show you these pictures, I want you to see your feeling. What's the feeling? What's your immediate reaction as you see these pictures? Just observe your feelings. She's a famous actress, Bollywood actress. Right? I think the rest you know. So what's happening here? Every one of us is vibrating. Oops, sorry. I meant to see the time and I lost. Yeah. So each one of them here is vibrating an energy, right? which we define as an aura. And just as they have their aura, we have our aura as well. Right? Just as we have an aura, others have an aura. And so how is this aura created? You all understand aura, right? It's the energy around us. So you look at somebody, I mean, okay, let's say Superman. Everybody knows Superman, okay? You look at Superman and what's the feeling you get? Oh, he's Superman. And he's invincible and he's a savior. And it's all this positive feeling. And maybe we look at Cinderella. Okay, we're happy for her, but at first we may have pity for her. Right? What she is, whatever she is, whatever character she is, she provokes some kind of response or feeling in us. Mickey Mouse, when we see him, yeah, maybe we all get happy. So anyway, yeah, each have their story. So my point is that we too are vibrating our aura. But how did these people create their aura? And that is through action. Repetitive action. Whatever opinion we have of these people, it is created by their repetitive action. It's not once only. Like Federer, right? I don't know how many Grand Slams he's won now, but repetitive. And he's not doing it for the money now, right? He's doing it for himself. So each one wants to excel. Each one of us also wants to excel in what we do, but we've just got to keep at it. And as we keep at it, we create our aura. Even this actress, Kangana Ranaut, this one on top of Nelson Mandela, I mean, she had to leave home. She left home when she was 16 because her parents didn't want her to go into acting. I mean, she was a bit of a rebel then, as she is now. But she made it. And everybody said she's short, she's got curly hair, she's not the fit for Bollywood. But she's a very talented and very professional actress now. But one has to push their limits. One has to push their comfort zone, you see? So my point here is that we all want certain things in life, but it's not going to happen if we're just sitting on the couch. And it's not going to happen if we think only. Yeah, I think like this man, what was his name? Nims, right? Nims Dai, I think, Nims Dai Purja, who climbed those 14 peaks in 7 months. And it's worth watching that documentary, actually. So amazing how he just pushed himself. And on the way, he would help people, sick people on the mountain, half dying, half dead. Even though he was racing against the clock to climb these mountains, the rest of the mountains, but his humanity, stayed with him. He wasn't selfish, he was thoughtful, he was kind. So the point is, when we want to do something, yes, we have to prepare for it. It's not enough to just have a thought, but then we have to back it up with action. Or we have to back it up with some preparation. We have to back it up with, continuous exercise in whatever that is. Preparation is the key to success. And this is what we forget when we say, okay, I want $1 million. Well, it's not just going to happen, is it? Now I have to work towards it. Or if I want a life that is free from a very heavy karmic debt, I mean, a karma, like relationship karmas, then I have to work towards that. I have to slowly clear those debts. I cannot just sit and have the thought. It's good to have the thought. That's a start. But then I have to make it happen. And then that will reflect in my aura. And that's the point of this, this slide. So yes, where is it that I'm giving my attention? Because where attention goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, then life grows. So the point is, yeah, nothing's happening to me, but it's where I am putting my attention. It's where I choose to put my attention. That's the point. As I choose to focus my attention on that which is positive and powerful and peaceful and purposeful, then that's where my energy will be invested. And that's why we say life grows, because then I'm putting attention to that, and that's what will happen. That's more will happen in that area. So yes, I need to create a vision, right? I need to decide what it is I want to do, where I want to be. And I need you in your meditations to actually feel it, envision it, feel it, and try to be specific. But specific, but open. Not too specific, right? Like maybe, because we always say, no, you say, okay, I want 25,000 pounds or dollars, but maybe God wants to give you 50,000. So you don't limit yourself, but you know that you want abundance. Back to life, you say, okay, really, I want to, you don't say, oh, I wish just my neighbors would be quiet so I can have some peace. No, you say, I want a peaceful life 24/7. Because maybe your neighbors will become quiet, but somebody else will create a racket. So this is where you have to be a little specific, not too specific. But envision that, envision it in your meditation. Envision what you want. In fact, this place that we're in Cairo, when I came to Cairo, then I envisioned that it would be nice to have a place in this area. And I was walking the streets looking for a place. And sure enough, yes, we got this place. But yes, I had to put in the effort of coming daily, looking and vibing. And I would actually, sit in certain spots and meditate and vibe this area, that where can we get a place? So it is possible, really. Just want you to have a look at the picture. So he's in his little house on the left, and he's looking over and he says, why do you have a big house with a swimming pool? And he says, why not? And it's true, why not? So as I mentioned already about vibration, right? No matter where we are, no matter how down and out we are, but I keep having to lift my vibration. Keep saying to yourself, I feel great, I feel great, I feel great. I'm good, I'm successful, I'm powerful, I'm strong. I can do it. This is vibration, right? And then it's so important to remember that everything I need, I have right here inside of me. See, one of the things that we are in an illusion that everything I want is out there and I'm chasing for it out there. But in fact, it's actually right here inside of me. And this is what the spiritualists have understood, is that I don't need to go after those things for my happiness. Because first I have the happiness here. I have to recognize, I have to feel it here. And when I feel it, then no matter what I do, I'm happy. So there is happiness in everything then. But this comes from this thing of acceptance, accepting, as I was saying earlier, my present. Everything is good. My present is perfect. I'm in the right place at the right time to learn what it is that I need to learn. And I can truly say that because I've lived in many countries. And each country is good. Each country has taught me something and helped me to grow in a certain way, both practically, physically, and spiritually and mentally. Like I'd never cooked in London till I was 27. And when I went to Vancouver, That's when I started to cook. I'd never cooked till I was 27. I never baked anything. So both physically and mentally, spiritually, emotionally, every place has taught me something. So everything is good, really. Nothing is bad. In fact, in the Brahma Kumaris, we say that we know that right is right, but wrong is also right. When things don't seem to go the way we think it's wrong. No, it's right. But I'm just not ready to see it. I'm just not ready to face it. Maybe because of my ego, my expectations, my desires, but it is right. And when I come to that acceptance, then I'm so grateful for the lessons in life. So yes, make peace with your past and really feel full from within. And finally, yes, everything is a choice. As I've been saying, it's your choice. It's totally your choice. What you think and how you think, whether you believe or don't believe. So every day this man makes a choice of sitting on that side and thinks that, oh, the world is so great. And that lady sits on that side and thinks, oh, how wonderful, what a beautiful sunrise, sunset, whatever. So yeah, remember that as human beings, we have choice. I mean, we have one of the greater choices. And once we exercise that, then really we're on the train. We get on the train by making that choice. Get on the train of positivity, get on that train of doing what's right for you. And just to say, this is my blog, if you'd like to visit. Okay, and I'm Shanti. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to do a little meditation. And then after that, I'm happy to take question and answers. So just 5 minutes, if we can just sit comfortably. And maybe we can do some of this envisioning. So yeah, just sit comfortably where you are. And I just want to be with myself, and I just want to say to myself that how grateful I am for all the lessons in life. In fact, I'd like you to repeat this quietly in your mind as well. It's like a commentary. So just how grateful I am in my life for all the lessons that have come my way. And I can now see the difference between what I want and what I need. And right now I know that I need very deep inner stability, a very deep inner contentment. I do not want to run the rat race anymore. Yes, I want to be purposeful. Yes, I want to give back to the world, but on my terms, not forsaking my inner peace. And so right now, I'd like you to, in your mind, just envision what kind of life you would like. As I said, don't be too specific, but just look at all the areas of your life, whether it's financial, health, relationships, your purpose, your challenges. and anything else. Just have a kind of global view. And just put it out to the universe. What it is that you would like. Create some positive thoughts, some positive affirmations. For example, abundance flows through my life. Everyone I meet is wonderful. And every moment is special. Every moment teaches me something. And I'm ready to listen and to learn. And I believe I can. I believe I can have the life that I want. Because it's all in my thoughts. And I am the master of my thoughts. I'm the creator of my thoughts. And I will choose. I will choose what's best for me. So just stay in that belief. Just stay in that feeling of self-mastery. That you are the master of your life. Thank you. So yeah, Carolyn, I'm happy to take questions.
So thank you, Aruna. That was lovely. We've got one message in here already saying, thank you, sister, for your enlightening and uplifting talk. So thank you very much. So one question we have is, how does one maintain a positive mind on a constant basis?
Well, practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
Yes.
See, there will be things that will come my way, of course, to test me. But if I know the benefit of staying positive, then I will, right? Yep. Like, I need to know the value of staying positive. And then I will not, usher away from that.
Okay, thank you. And one more, do you believe uncomfortable vibrations also have a way to tell you it's time to give up on something, maybe a job?
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, yeah, we didn't go into it too much because of time, but you have to really trust your feelings, because the feelings that you have are a barometer of your soul, you see? And if you're feeling uncomfortable, then listen to that. And then don't take a rash decision immediately, but go away, step away, and then ask yourself, what is the uncomfortability? And then look at that and then take the steps. But yes, every feeling is guiding you. You see, just as we say, oh, I'm very happy, then that's a feeling, isn't it? It's not just a thought. It's a feeling. I'm very happy. Or, oh, I love being here. I'm so loved. Or I feel great. I mean, all these are feelings, and they tell us, well, this is where I want to be. These are the people I want to be with. So in the same way, the other feelings also tell us, well, this is not where I want to be. This is not what I want to be doing.
Yeah. Okay, there's another question here. Being a self-master is okay. Is not being bringing out the big ego? I suppose she's saying, is there a temptation that if we say I'm a self-master, we do invoke ego?
Yeah, or I think I can do everything. Yeah. Okay, so I guess my response to that is that, you see, somewhere I've got to take charge of my life. And I don't think that's ego. I think that's responsibility. So if I say, okay, I'm taking charge of my life, then I'm being responsible, right? I'm being responsible for my thoughts and feelings, etc. So no, I don't think that's ego. I think I'm being careful and I'm being wise. I think when it turns into the ego is when there is this thought that I'm the only one, who can do this, or it cannot happen without me. Or, I mean, you can feel the energy of the ego, right? I think she's saying something else, Daksha.
So our feelings can sometimes isolate us, especially in this time of COVID stress, etc. So I think that's more of a comment, but
I think that's more of a comment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they can isolate you, but again, there's a lot you can do with your time and energy, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Honestly, I mean, I'd love to learn many things if I had the spare time. So, yeah. So, I mean, there's lots to do if we can be creative, and not to see isolation as bad, but as a quiet time to be creative and maybe to do the things we haven't done.
Yeah. I think also, for me also, I think sometimes that isolation takes us away from what's not being good for us and gives us the capacity to move in a different direction.
Yeah. It's a time to reflect, isn't it? I think a lot of people had time to reflect during COVID, and to ask this question, well, where am I headed? And then, while they were not working, they were at home, they had maybe some of them did start to appreciate their jobs, because being home was not the same as they had imagined.
Yes, be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I think then the sister's gone on to say, we've already taken charge to follow this session, but we have to be aware about the fine line in this. It's easier said than done. I suppose, and that comes down to the difference between responding and reacting, as you discussed earlier.
Yeah, and I know, yes, Daksha saying it's sensitive. Yeah, definitely. We cannot judge anyone's situation. That's why we can only focus on our life, and, we can only look at our life in the mirror of our heart and ask ourselves, what is it that I want? And then am I doing the necessary steps to get to where I want? And I truly believe that it's not about others. My life is not about others, or my life is not about others putting an obstacle to my life. I really do believe that if I was doing more, I could conquer those obstacles. Or if I could make better choices, or if I could put out the right energy, or if I could have more meditation to uplift my aura, you know. So this is the work, this is the inner work that I think many times law of attraction subjects don't talk about. They always talk about put your thoughts out there, but we need to do more work inside the soul. It's like, as I said, I've got to believe, right? I've got to make myself worthy enough then to believe that I can have this. Even the universe will say, well, give it to Aruna because she'll know how to use it. I mean, I have to get myself to that point, you see, where the universe will say, well, she seems to have a sense of it, so give it to her. But if I don't have a sense of it, then of course the universe will say, well, let's move on. Let's give it to somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's lovely. So thank you very much, Aruna, for being with us this evening.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure we've all learned something and have something there we can work on. And that will be most beneficial to everyone. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope Om Shanti. And I hope you'll all join us next week, where the talk is 7 steps to peace and contentment. So thank you very much for being with us, and good night.